YouTube, BigH Trucking. As you can see, I'm not in my truck. I'm in my car. Now, I've been home since last Monday night. What's today, Wednesday? I'm on my way to my girls to take it to the doctor because I'm not in my truck. You know why I'm not in my truck? Because my DEF system in my Peterbilt is kaput. So I dropped my truck off at Hunter Peterbilt in Pennsylvania last Monday. But prior to that, I don't know if you see my videos, I had a knock sensor go out at me in Illinois, and they changed it out. I'm driving, by the way, if you can't tell. Yeah, I got my gray beard going. I'm gonna grow my beard until the truck is ready. But anyway, my knock sensor went out in Illinois. Turned out to be a knock sensor, but I couldn't do a regen. My screen lit up, high soot level. Must pull over truck and perform a regen, which I couldn't do. It wouldn't allow me to do it. I was up to temperature, both my brakes were pulled, my jakes are off. That's the protocol. Again, if you get a regen on a Peterbilt, it's find a safe spot as soon as possible. Once that signal goes off that you got a high soot level, you must perform a regen. Now, typically, regen does happen while you're driving. Help keep that filter clean. It's all about airflow. So I couldn't perform the regen. Again, I pulled my brakes, both my trailer and my tractor. And I don't like to pull my trailer brakes, especially in the winter, because it locks up. And then at night, with the cold temperatures coming up, it'll freeze. So, as a word to the wise, do not pull your trailer brake only at the shipper or receiver. You're fine, nothing's gonna happen. Just use your tractor brake. Just a little secret my trainer told me. I noticed that a lot of people pull both their trailer and tractor brake when they're at like the truck stop or wherever. Don't do that. Especially in the winter, the cold temperatures overnight. More than likely your brake shoes are gonna stay against the drum and not free itself. And you have to go back there with a hammer and break it up. So anyway, so I pull my brakes, take my jakes off, get the temperature up to 185 degrees, try to perform a regen, it wouldn't let me. Contact road assist. That's one good thing about Prime's road assist. They asked me if I did that, and I said, yes, I did that. It's not responding. All right, take it to Peterbilt. We got one there 30 miles away. Here's the confirmation code, whatever. Went there. The guy scanned it. Was serviced immediately, which I'm very happy about. Turns out there's a knock sensor that had a knock sensor issue. Okay, so we resolved that. We replaced that. No check engine light. Go pick up a load, drop off a load, go pick up another load. And on my way up to Schenectady, New York from Illinois, about 200 miles or 300 miles into my remaining 400-mile trip to the 90, check engine light goes off. 10 minutes later, I get the signal on the dash, high soot level, must perform a regen. I'm saying to myself, well, that's impossible. I just did a regen. They just did a regen. And there's been regens done in the last few days. Well, I do the regen. It actually did it. Was there for about a half hour, 35 minutes. I burned it off. Okay. Good normal level. Looked at my gauge. Normal airflow. No clean. Everything's good to go. I get to the truck stop, which was within a couple miles of the 90. Stay there. Check engine light never disappeared. I delivered a product to the 90. I told weekend fleet manager that I'm going to go to Pittston because I contacted Road Assist first, and they said, yeah, we see a knock sensor. Call them up. What do you see on your end? Because I have a check engine light on. They're like, oh, you have a knock sensor. So I said to myself, impossible. I just changed this on Wednesday. Okay. Well, I'm going to bring the truck down to Pittston, down to the terminal. Let my fleet manager know, don't put me on another load because I'm going to the terminal to get at least get it scanned to see exactly what the check engine light is. It really a knock sensor, or is it something different? And so I get there on a Sunday, and as usual, I go in and I ask the shop manager if you can fit me in and scan my truck, because ultimately it's got to go to Peterbilt. They can't work on it. Prime cannot work on Peterbilts unless it's like a simple oil change or changing filters, etc. So I just wanted them to scan it to see where I'm at. Well, they never got around to scan it, so 9 o'clock at night I go back into the shop and say, listen, cancel that scanning thing. As I was sitting there since 11 o'clock in the morning, because I don't want to be woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning and say you're ready to come in and scan. Ridiculous. So in the morning I get up about 5 o'clock, I'm giving you timelines here, and I make my way to Hunter Peterbilt in Pennsylvania. The exact name of the town slips me. And we start the process. And right off the bat, the guy said, well, we're probably not going to get around to looking to it until Wednesday. You have a lot of trucks here. And they did. They had a lot of trucks. Well, Wednesday goes by, Thursday goes by, Friday goes by, and I call him up and I said, do you have any updates on my Peterbilt? No updates. Nope, nothing. We're working back and forth with some kind of research place with Prime. I mean, with Peterbilt. We're taking pictures, we're photographing everything. It actually was out on a test ride, so apparently it failed the test ride. All right. Monday morning comes, my fleet manager's looking for me because I'm supposed to be off home time, and they're sending me proposed loads, and I contact my fleet manager. I'm thinking they ping my truck and they know that his truck is still held up, because my fleet manager knew where I was. But apparently they didn't ping my truck to know where I was. They thought I was at Pittston. So I told them, I said, listen, my truck's still in the shop. It's day by day. I don't know how long it's going to be. You got to remove my PTA. They put my PTA for tomorrow, the 18th. But anyway, let me get back to the story. So I call them up. I let Monday go by, because I don't want to be a pain in the ass and nudge them. So yes, I call up in the afternoon and I say, listen, what's the story with this truck? A really nice guy on the phone. And he explained it to me, and I can't explain it to you because it's Chinese. Basically, everything they're doing is not working. And basically, at the end of the day, there's an airflow problem. And they've changed exhaust manifold gaskets. They found 2 exhaust leaks. And they repaired them. They put sensor here and a sensor there, and it's coming back negative. It's coming back bad. Now, apparently there's 4 trucks that belong to Prime. That's all over the country, because they're working with this guy, Van, from Peterbilt, Prime's Peterbilt representative. I never heard of him, I never met him, I don't know who he is, but Prime knows exactly what's going on, and incidentally, nothing can get done without Prime's approval. So Prime's in the loop, and that's one good thing about working with, I guess, I don't know if all the mega carriers do this, but at least with Prime, they can't do something without approval from Road Assist, which kind of like protects you from taking it to a shop and they saying, you bring it in there for a simple oil change and they end up putting, brakes on it or changing out fuel injectors and saying, well, they were broken, they were bad, and, you're kind of stuck with it. So, believe me, if you guys are an owner-up, I've heard stories, them guys coming in there and they go in for a simple fucking fix, excuse my language, you go in for a simple fix, next thing you know, they're repairing stuff that didn't need to be repaired, and the owner-op is paying for it. Well, I've been around the block long enough to know that you have to show me the evidence that that thing that you supposedly are fixing needed to be fixed. You're not going to just blindly put something on that you say is broken, but it's not really broken. You just want to, line your pockets with money. So it's a great asset to have working with Prime, because you can't pull the wool over their eyes. They're not, they're not a bunch of dummies. So long and short of it, after the conversation, I jokingly said, well, why don't we just do this? Why don't we just put a new engine and a new DEF system in there? And he laughed and he said, hey, you never know. It might happen. So these DEF systems, and I've known, I've only been in the trucking industry for about 1.5 years, but I've heard stories about these DEF systems. I follow a guy on YouTube, and I can't remember his name, but he has 15 trucks. He's a small owner op, and he was buying, brand new trucks. And slowly but surely, he had nothing but problems with the DEF system on all of his trucks. Eventually, something happens to the DEF system, sensors or whatever. And it was costing him, because after a while, there's no more warranty on these trucks. And that's when things typically happen, is when warranties are up. All of a sudden, you come across a lot of stuff which comes out of your pocket. Now you're not covered. So be careful out there, you guys buying these new trucks. And that's kind of maybe a blessing in disguise, that I was initially going to be a lease purchase. And, I initially ordered it late spring, and it was going to be in like December. And I had told Success Leasing, listen, let's hold off. I don't want a brand new truck in the start of winter. I want to kind of wait till spring. And then all of a sudden, this mass pandemonium happened with the chips. And so the last email I got when I resubmitted my application was no, we're not ordering any more trucks for 2022 for a Peterbilt. But my point is, be careful with these new trucks, because these DEF systems are nothing but headaches. Getting back to the owner-op that had the 15 brand new trucks, he slowly weeded them out and went back to pre-2008 Peterbilts and Kenworths and what have you. Yeah, there's 1 million miles on it, but it's just an engine. And those diesel engines are not complicated to work on. I mean, you now have to worry about, I don't know, I'm not a mechanic, but all I know is these DEF systems are wreaking havoc on these new trucks. And the DEF system has been implemented since 2008. And you think by now they would have the bugs worked out. And they don't. It's going on? It's 13 years, right, as we sit here. 14 years, whatever. And they still come up with these bugaboos. Now, I'm not saying that every truck is going to have a DEF issue like that, like what I'm having. But there's certainly more than their share of these issues. Now, I'm sitting in limbo. Now, thank God, I have a tremendous fat emergency fund, so I can sit home for the next 5 months and not worry about money. Not that I want to, but my truck payment's covered for at least 5 months. Now, at some point, if this continues day in and day out, where I'm not going back to work, somebody's got to start paying me. Now, the other side of the coin is, thank God it happened in Pennsylvania. That was close to the terminal where my car is, so I can go home. Could you imagine being stuck in Idaho or wherever, and you're in a hotel for 10, 15, 20 days? That must be killer. Yeah, and Prime pays you for breakdown. That's like $200 a day. It's barely covering your, all it really does is cover your hotel and your food. You're not making money. Right now, I'm not making any money. But again, I'm home. I'm surrounded by friends, surrounded by my girlfriend. I'm doing things, going to see people I haven't seen. Able to relax, but I'm edgy. I want to get back going, because now every day that goes by, it's one step closer to the holidays. And, my intention was to be home for Christmas. And I'm not going out for 2 weeks and coming back home. It's not how I work. Whatever, that's just my decision. I'm going out for a stretch, because that's how you bank money. Do I need the money? No, but you know what? I'm busting my ass. I'm in an industry. I want to at least make money. So I had to talk with my girlfriend last night. I said, every day that goes by that I'm home, it's great, but it's going to take me out of coming home for the holidays. Is she happy about it? Not really. But if you look at it, today's the 17th already? I mean, next Thursday is, a week from tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and then a month away it's Christmas. I'm not staying out for 3-4 weeks and coming back home. I'm not doing it. I'm just going to stay out. I've made a few appointments for the 23rd of December, which ultimately I'm going to have to cancel, but And I'm going all over the place with this story, but this is absolutely just ridiculous that a DEF system is wreaking so much havoc on a truck. And it's not a simple fix. You think it's a sensor, but it turns out that doesn't work, or the sensors are blowing. You know, I asked him if there's a problem. I said, be honest with me, is there a problem with the supply chain in getting parts? And he's like, no. He said, no, if we don't have them, our sister company will have, our sister shop will have them. No, they're pack cars. It's fine. It's not coming out of China, thank God. So guys, I don't know what to say. For those who have Peterbilts, it's not about Peterbilt versus Freightliner versus Kenworth versus Mack, Volvo. It's a fucking DEF system, folks. It's doesn't work. It's not a good combination, and it's been a problematic feature since 2008, since the government implemented that you have to cut down on the emissions, the amount of carbon dioxide or monoxide that you're putting out into the atmosphere. Well, that's all great, but the government jumps way too fast, and they don't think things through, and that's typical of them. They just assume that, oh, we're gonna make a law and we're gonna change it, and everyone's got to fucking comply, which you have to unless you get fined, right? But yet the technology's not there to switch over. And the rest of us are paying for it, I'm losing money. I saved my money, but the point is, I don't want to be out for 2-3, I don't know how, the guy's like, I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know how long your truck is going to be down. He goes, we can fix it in 5 minutes from now, or it could take another week, 2 weeks. And I don't think Prime has a loaner truck, not in this day and age. Them days are over. Every truck that comes into existence is gone. I don't think you can even probably rent a truck from like Ryder, because every truck is gone. I mean, this is a hot industry right now. People are in the trucking business. I mean, you can tell by the truck stops how full they are. Truck shortage, my ass. That's just an excuse on the supply chain. Plenty of truck drivers. Every truck stop I go to, they're parking on top of each other by 9 o'clock at night. You can't forget about trying to find a spot. I mean, you get lucky if somebody pulls out. You're not finding a spot, so there's no trucker shortage. It's a combination of everything. Just dysfunctional. This country has become dysfunctional in so many ways. No one uses their brain or common sense. So that's what we're suffering from. It ain't truck shortage. My ass. You're not going to find a truck. You're not going to find a truck. So, anyway, I'm hanging out home. I'm glad to be home. But I hope this doesn't occur to you guys that are out there that really, need the money badly, because Prime's not paying you. Prime's not paying me because I'm home. But at some point, if this continues to carry on, I'm gonna have to walk away from this lease. Now, I'm being a little bit ridiculous with that comment, but what if? What if it's 2-3 weeks? What if it's a month? It's probably not. But what do you do? What do you do as a, and that's something to think about going lease. Like, for a year and a half with that truck, I never had a glitch. Didn't have a glitch. It ran smooth. And the engine runs smooth, even with the check engine light on. It's the DEF system. I didn't have an issue. And all of a sudden, I come up with this, and what you think is a sensor one-day fix is turning out to be days and days, and turning into weeks. I don't know if it's any better with the company. I don't know the policy over there on the company side. I think it's the fact of the matter is, if you don't run, you're not earning, regardless whether you're a company or lease. But at some point, it's not Prime's fault. Let's get that fact straight. It ain't Prime's fault. It's Peterbilt. It ain't Peterbilt's fault. It's the government. So at some point, somebody's going to have to start paying me for sitting home. Because it's not my choosing to be out for two weeks. You know. But anyway, that's where I'm at, folks. I'm sitting home, chillaxing, and just waiting for a phone call from either Prime or Peterbilt that your truck's ready. Everyone, be safe. Have a great day. I'm hearing that winter is coming next week to the northeast and the central part of the country. Snowstorms. Back to back, 23rd, and they're saying the 26th and 27th, another one. So don't forget to bleed your air tanks. Bleed those air tanks. Protect yourself. Be smart. Anti-gel. Let's go. Wake up. Bleed the tanks. If you don't do it daily, you should do it at least every other day. Bleed those tanks. I know we all forget to do it, but it's a friendly reminder. Bleed those air tanks. You get moisture in those lines, shit freezes at night. Then you have to call a fucking tow truck. And one thing I must say, thank God I didn't have to get hooked. I drove it under its own power there. 3 regens later, of course. All right, folks, that's it. I'm out. Be good. Stay safe. Make great decisions.